and Ironheart episodes 4 through 6. Now, we kind of both, I think, were more or less on the same page through the first 3 episodes. Flawed, but not terrible.
Like it could be great.
Like they could do great things, or they could do really terrible things. Well,
Yeah.
for me, they turned around and did the really terrible things.
And I thought right up there till the last like 30 seconds, I was like, yes, she's finally going to grow a conscience.
Yeah.
She's fine. Like she had
nothing.
Her conscience has kind of been pricking at her this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, she's finally going to come into her own and make a morally right decision.
Right. And she doesn't. So what is the takeaway? What is the moral lesson of this movie or this show? And it's just keep doing whatever you feel like, whatever feels best. Be selfish, be greedy, ignore your conscience, and everything will just keep working out.
Well, and like her little friend interest, or her little love interest, she asks, am I a good person? He's like, well,
and he actually refuses to say you're a good person.
But he says, does it even matter if you're a good person? Yes.
Well, he basically says, well, you're a genius and you're all these other things, so does it even really matter? Now, I don't think that was him saying it's okay to not be good. I think that was him just refusing to answer.
Yeah. But
I think that was him just refusing to say, no, you're not good, because everybody's been telling her, everyone has been telling her, you're doing the wrong thing. So I don't know what we're supposed to feel about this character at the end of the day. Now, look, before we go, just tear the thing apart. What is her name? Dominic Thorne, or
I think so.
Dominic Thorne.
Dominique
Thorne. That's what I said.
It's not what you said.
Yes, it is. So she's fine as an actress. Just as unlikable at the end of this movie as she was at the end of this show as she was in Wakanda Forever. She was so throwaway in Wakanda Forever, and she was completely unlikable. And thing is, I love the cast of Wakanda Forever, but she just, like, she's not the same as the rest of the cast. She's so terrible, so unlikable. Actress is fine. She's doing. I mean, she's playing the part, but it's doing terrible. It's a terrible character. And the guy that plays the villain, that plays Parker, good actor, but I feel like too reserved as a villain. I feel like he doesn't really turn it on till that last episode when he's going up against his father, which is a whole nother thing. And, I don't even really know exactly how to address that particular one.
I mean,
that's just like, that's one of the most just messed up storylines they've come up with in the MCU.
And honestly, it was just like, I didn't want to bother with you, so I threw you out. Like, that's just weird. That's like, I don't know. That one was, I was just like,
wow.
I mean,
and it does make me go, I think it was meant to kind of make you go, okay, so he's bad, but he's doing it for, the right reasons or something. And it's like, no, his dad's an ass, and now he's being a bigger ass.
Right.
So, like, I don't totally know what to do with that, but I feel like he's a good actor. I feel like he's a very good actor, but I feel like he's not intimidating as a villain.
No.
Not until that kind of towards the end, when the voice starts changing a little bit. And, we get some intensity. I feel like most of it he plays with not near enough intensity. Now, of course, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh my God.
And I didn't really expect any less.
Oh my God. He was okay. I do have to say, it's weird to me that they've cast the devil in like 2 shows in the past like two big shows recently as a Jewish guy. The actor who was the Dark One um in Ring of Time and Wheel of Time was also like definitely Jewish. I was like, this is a weird trend. But that being said, Sacha Baron Cohen killed it.
Yeah, no,
He was
considering
like,
what he needs to be to the MCU going forward, I'm really glad they made that choice. There weren't a lot of people that I was like, yeah, that's the right choice to play. Now, I had no doubts about him as an actor being able to pull that off. You know, once upon a time, you know, Paul Rubens might have been a really interesting Mephisto. A weird one, I think Danny Pudi actually from Community actually could be, because he can mean, like, he does comedy well, but I mean he can turn on just this like intense.
But man, that the sinister,
mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I bought it, but sinister, but yet also
charming. Yeah.
I mean, so nail on the head.
Yeah, solid casting. I can't wait to see what they use him in next. But I'm really just kind of like, I don't know. I don't understand watching it all the way through. I don't understand what the writers and the directors wanted us to feel about Riri. Like, we can't see, we can't look at her as a hero. She's done nothing but self. It's been all selfish. Everything she's done's been for her. Some of it may be to protect her friends and family, but even that seems like a little bit of BS.
Yeah, she needed to mature, and she needed to really make some good decisions. I really am glad that they pulled back just a little bit on as far as they could have gone with Ezekiel Stain. I really hope we continue to see his character.
Yeah, so that's another one. I'm okay with where they went with him. I'm still not totally sure I like everything about it. Like, I still think they went too far with him. I think his villain turn is way too fast and way too far. Like, I don't know that I want to see him as a villain, but I have this issue with this guy that spent his entire life trying to not be his father, just becoming his father because somebody did him wrong.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, but it just seems like a little, like one mess up and now he is totally unhinged. Now we see him rein it back in. Instead of killing her, he destroys the suit, and that seems to be good enough for him. Yeah. And he walks away. But he tells her later, when Riri helps reboot his system, that it's been hacked, that, like, we're not done. Like, yeah.
Okay, but now, him in there going, sorry, shh, get out of the way, I'm getting ready to throw that. I mean, it was
one of the best performances in the show. His and Sacha Baron Cohen, top acting in this.
I mean, series. I totally bought like someone else was
animating his bones. Yeah,
it was perfect. It was so damn funny.
Yeah.
But
now, other actors that I want to give credit to is Reagan Elia, I don't know how it's said, who plays Zelma.
Yes.
You know, I think maybe we're at least throwing out some breadcrumbs, hoping to do a Strange Academy series.
I mean,
whether that'll ever actually happen or not, she was great. Liked her. Now we get that after credit scene with her. Don't know where they're going. Like, are we now going to twit? Because no indication that she's got any villainous intent, but now she's with Parker.
Right.
So, and also, like, what is Parker after at this point? It's presumably still chasing the same thing that's now been snatched away again.
Presumably he's still after that hood.
Well, he could be after the hood, but I mean, I don't know.
He's still got his
And
stuff though.
And why he's not in prison. Because let's be honest, this whole plot of I'm going to force these rich people into signing a contract to make me an employee and sign over all this stuff to me, like contracts signed under duress, they're void.
Yeah, there should definitely be like some sort of major blackmail tied up in that, or there's
Well, it's all extortion.
Yeah, it's all extortion, but like they never gave you any compelling reason for like why they don't call the cops. Like especially that first woman.
Like that woman, why doesn't she just as soon as he leaves, she just throws it all out? Mm-hmm. Like calls the police, calls the lawyer, and says, deal with this. Mm-hmm. Like that whole thing doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
No.
The crew, the thugs, horrible characters. I feel like they wanted them to be this show's version of
Ocean's 11.
Or of like Scott's crew. Mm-hmm. And they're not. In fact, the only one that was like on par with those they killed. Mm-hmm. First episode.
Yeah.
So they're throwaway. Mm-hmm. They're terrible. They come in the diner and start a fight with Riri. Instead of just grabbing her when she leaves the restaurant, they come in the restaurant, start a fight, like smash some dude's head into the table and kick everybody out of the restaurant and start throwing down. Now Riri, who doesn't no reason to believe she can fight, then proceeds to beat the two enforcers.
Right. At the same time. Yeah.
So, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
The hacker that steals the suit doesn't shut the suit down, just basically ties it up in the back, at which point it escapes.
Right.
Because, like, what does she know about computers? And then the biggest thing that I have a gripe with on the front of like, can I believe this? And like, it's a comic book show. I'm willing to give all sorts of like buy all sorts of things that are less than realistic, whether they be, technology, supernatural, whatever. She didn't have the tools, didn't have everything she needed to build a suit, right? Tony can build these suits. He's like the only person that can build these suits, like not the one he built in a cave, but like the ones that he built with all of the best equipment that money can buy. And she builds one out of a car in like a day.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. It was not very. I was like, really? All of the most advanced things she needs is in a.
Like, she formed all that. Like, was she hand forming all this metal? And where did she get all the tech?
Right.
Like, that was the problem the whole time. She never had the tech.
Right.
And now all of a sudden she has it in a car from the 60s? No. I don't.
I understand what they were trying to do there, but it was a little bit of a stretch. Well, and the whole thing, she was like, she couldn't make it exactly what she wanted at MIT because all she needed was more money. But all she needed was a
car,
40-year-old car, and she could have made this.
No, like a 60-year-old car.
She could have made this from the word go. Like, well, then you don't.
Not right.
So like,
well, I'm sorry. I guess I was wrong when I thought you needed help from the Wakandans or to call Pepper Potts or something. But
like in this, all of this, like, if only I had the money. I just need the resources.
She needed the resources, and then but also
until she didn't.
Right.
Until the story was like, never mind. This is the resource you needed was a
car.
Yeah. It was a little much, but again, I would have been like, okay, like I can like ignore all of that if we had gotten to the end and she had made a moral decision.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I feel like they kind of tried to. So I was reading an interview with the showrunner, and basically said she has things in place to escape a certain fate. So, like, basically, she gets to use the dark side and not suffer because she has people that love her.
Yeah, and so we're going to talk about that because Mephisto in Marvel Comics is Mephistopheles.
Yeah.
From Faust.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that here in a minute. That's kind
Not
of
a
where I
nice
want to wrap
chap.
up. And at some point, we're going to get into we're going to do a whole episode at some point breaking down Faust. But this is, Mephistopheles doesn't just appear out of nowhere in Marvel. Like, he's based on this real trickster demon, like from all these other stories.
Yeah, and I mean,
like this character.
Faust stories are way older than even.
Well, the Faust stories are based on somebody from like the 1600s.
Yeah, and Goethe, right? Wrote famous
Goethe
Faust novel.
Goethe wrote it, right?
I mean,
or was Goethe the one that it's based on? Like, there's a real person that the writer was writing this story about, this super successful like alchemist.
A lot of people have told stories about Faust for a very long time. And there is some suspicion. There are several candidates for the real Faust. But he wrote the most famous treatment.
Yeah. And that's from the 1600s or 1700s.
I mean, I feel like it's Age of Enlightenment. I feel like he's kind of contemporary with like Voltaire and all that.
1808.
Wow,
and
way later than I thought.
Okay, yeah, but the story is based on someone earlier.
Okay, I mean, yeah, he wasn't the first person to tell these stories. It's kind of like Shakespeare. It's like a lot of these stories.
Right. I mean, like, Mephistopheles is not his creation. This is a trickster demon from other mythologies. Like, this is a demon that can be summoned and show up and give you all the things that you want in turn for selling your soul.
Right.
Now, in the Faust story, Faust is saved and goes to heaven. One
version of the Faust story.
Well, one version, the more popular, the most common version that everyone reads. Now, what saves him is that he finds ultimate joy in doing good things for other people. Well,
in the intercession of a virtuous maiden that he wronged.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't be a good 1800 story if you don't have a virtuous maiden to save the wayward lost soul.
Right.
But yes, yeah, and I feel like there's a lot. I think that they're trying to have her, basically she gets her cake and eats it too.
Yeah. And so we're telling the same story as the Acolyte.
Yeah, and I think that she gets to basically take advantage of Mephisto's power, but it doesn't fundamentally, change.
Now, we do see her getting the scarring at the end on her arm. And also, like, the fact that, like, Mephisto's able to give her this person back. And then you start going, is it really Natalie? Yeah. Or is it more of a golem?
I mean, because they've always leaned pretty hard into can't bring back dead things.
Right.
I mean,
which to me is, this is probably not really Natalie.
Now, potentially.
Or at least it probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Now, what they do with the story, I think the story's done. I think it's dead in the water. They may be able to tell a little bit of it in little bits and pieces. I don't think this gets a season 2.
Yeah, probably not.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the lowest performing thing ever put on Disney Plus.
Yeah. It's a shame because I really felt like it was going. It was.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, so, what is their intention? Is their intention to tell a Faustian story where she's going to have a redemption arc? But like, we're a movie and an entire TV series in, and the character is just as unlikable when we end. I mean, we end her second story with her making a deal with the devil, selling her soul. Now, like as a story point, I don't have an issue with that.
Right.
But we also need, my problem with it is that we've got to, because I mean, we're going to have other characters that are going to do this. Eventually, we're going to do Ghost Rider, and we're going to do some other characters that will potentially make this same deal. But the problem is I need them to be honest about what the character's doing. And I feel like they're not. I also have a problem. They kind of, I think they kind of really screwed the language up when they talked about magic. They talked about magic, and the Zelma in particular says, look, magic's a give and take. You know, it always exacts a price. But I think we don't see that with Doctor Strange or Wong or any of these people that use magic. We only see this in places where dark magic is used. We've, to this point, only seen it when the Darkhold has been involved, where dark magic absolutely comes with a cost. It's like using the dark side of the Force. It exacts a price.
Yeah, and honestly, so why was there not more of a pause about, like, you're using this remnant of this evil
Yeah, so the character was
to power
like,
your suit, and nobody's like, no. I mean, they don't even want it in their shop because it's so evil. And then they're like, all right, new plan. Let's use this to power your...
Well, more specifically, the mother didn't want it in her shop.
That's true.
And she's not there when they use it.
That's true. But why is Riri's mom not like, no, boo? I feel like she's been she's had her head on pretty straight.
Yeah, everybody, the people that have said, no, this is a bad idea. Nobody's going to speak up when we're going to use the evil piece of cloth to power the suit. With a magician standing there saying it's going to come at a cost.
Right.
And who knows at what it costs now? I mean, because she also has the cloak.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're not. I feel like they're glossing over the decision she made.
Yeah.
I feel like they're glossing over it and acting.
You're like, oh, look, she got Natalie back. Isn't that sweet? I mean, not really.
Right. But we also have this, like, again, my biggest problem with this story is I don't know what I'm supposed to think about the character.
Yeah.
I don't understand. One, unless you're completely self-centered and selfish, I don't even know how you can get in the headspace of understanding the character. Right? Who's this character for?
I don't know.
Like, we can, again, the story seems to be, do all the bad things you want, be as self-interested, selfish, disrespectful as you want to be, ignore all the people that you supposedly love that are telling you you're doing wrong, and just keep getting everything you want.
Yep. I mean, that's very postmodern.
It's very postmodern, and which is why I said it's ultimately, I think if you dig down deep enough, basically telling the same story as the Acolyte.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I don't throw it out.
Yeah.
It may even be worse. It may even be worse than Secret Invasion.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I just don't like
Look, I called the Acolyte evil, and I think this is right there with it.
Yeah.
Like, the best case scenario for this show for me is to teach my children all the things that are done wrong, all the things that are wrong. Like, that's the takeaway for me for this show is it is an opportunity for me to watch this with my kids and go, you see how terrible she is? So I don't know. I wanted to like it.
And she's not like...
And I said I would give it a chance. And I did. And even after the first 3 episodes, I walked away going, look, I'm still giving it a chance. There are things I don't like.
Like when
But
we meet Tony Stark, he's very selfish.
Yeah.
And he makes such
for Stark, it's not so much selfish because he has everything he could ever want. So he's not like,
I mean, he's totally self-absorbed though.
but he's very self. But that's when I say selfish, I mean like wants all these things that other not.
Oh, I mean,
he's not coveting the things that other people
no,
have.
I mean, he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need anything.
He doesn't need to.
But
like, that doesn't make
he's
him
very
virtuous.
self-absorbed. But we see him become the ultimate selfless character.
Right.
Like the most unlikely of all the characters to play the part of the Christ figure.
Right.
And sacrifice himself.
And I feel like a little bit that's what, I kind of hoped that was what they were doing with this character, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be like, and she stays selfish and self-absorbed and blaming everyone else for her bad decisions.
Yeah. And look, the whole like the sort of narcissist that thinks that everyone is out to get them all the time and points their finger every time something goes bad in their life and they point at somebody else. I have nothing for that.
Yeah.
I have deeply personal reasons for having nothing for that. Yeah. I tried to like the character. I said from day one, what they have to do to make this show work is they have to make us like the character. And I felt like they were moving that direction and then threw it all out the window. And I leave off hating the character more than I did.
Yeah.
But I liked her. Now we get some cool shots. I think the DP on this show, phenomenal job. Mostly. There's the scene where the suit picks her up in that final episode. The suit breaks free and saves her before she gets run over by the car. And they have this incredible shot of her punching the front of the car and the car flipping. And then they ruin it. Instead of holding on that shot, they switch to a reflection of the character that can't act their way out of a paper bag, making this just goofy face with the reflection of Riri in the windshield. And it's like, you had a really awesome shot and you threw it out.
That's not the DP's fault. That's the editor's fault.
Well, they shot it. I'm just saying they shot that scene. May not be the DP's fault. Maybe probably more the director's fault.
Yeah.
So I wasn't necessarily saying it's the DP's fault because the show is phenomenally shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very, very well, very, very good. I think costumes great, with the exception of I think the cloak doesn't look great. And I don't know if it was lighting. Did it look more red as we went forward? Or was that just lighting?
I don't know.
And maybe they lit it to look more red as we went forward.
I mean, honestly.
And we do get our first little look at Mephisto in the reflection in the spoon. I'm kind of mad they didn't show it full on, but I also understand they probably weren't allowed to. One, it would have cost a lot to do a fully rendered, Mephisto. It would have been a big budget increase. Also, they probably wanted to leave that for something bigger.
Yeah.
But we do see the reflection in the spoon.
I'm excited to see I just hope that they don't decide to, because honestly, it really takes that the character is no longer compelling if everybody is able to take advantage of what he sells them and not have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden he's a pointless character.
Yeah, no, there has to be the price has to be paid. And
she has people that love her isn't a way out of paying for it. And I think that that's what they're trying to do. And that's not how things work.
No. So we will see. Overall, this is going to be
cross the bridge, my love. Well, then you've got to pay the toll.
It's going to be way down towards the bottom of the list for me. I kind of would have to think on it a little more as to whether Secret Invasion is just bad. I find this one morally offensive.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So I have to decide whether I'm more offended by this one
Or disgusted
if
by
I'm more
Secret Invasion.
yeah, they're both bad.
Yeah.
And I think they're sort of interchangeable for me at the bottom of the pile. Still not the worst thing. Like, I'm still going to just flat tell you the Acolyte is still the worst thing that Disney Plus has ever made.
Yeah. It was really bad.
Regardless of viewership, you know, the Acolyte was worse than this, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I think
they went a really similar, and I don't understand why they've decided, like, hey, let's get a young Black female to play this character that we're going to give a completely this exact same story. Like, it's not consistent with the worlds that they're in. And, you know, there's always going to be pushback against female characters, against Black female characters. Why would you give them a story that
quit giving them crappy stories?
Yes,
quit giving them crappy stories.
Tell them good stories. They deserve good stories. And it's really like, why?
And not completely. Shuri got a good story in Wakanda Forever.
Right.
But she still plays the villain for half the movie. But she at least has a redemption arc.
But the fact that this is 2 for 2 on the
Disney Plus
shows, featuring young Black women, and it's like,
yeah, give them better stories.
Give them better, like, yeah.
And look, I'm not sure how much Ryan Coogler was involved in the making of this show. His name is on it as a producer. He was the creator. He's the one that wanted this show made. I really hope, I need to go back and look at the writing credits. I really hope he wasn't a writer on this, but ultimately I believe he signed off on this. He's doing an X-Files reboot. The X-Files is probably, I don't think you can even argue that it's not top 10 all-time sci-fi series, and I have a real hard time not putting it as my number 1.
Oh, that's why she was watching the X-Files.
Yes. Because Coogler is doing the X-Files. This makes me incredibly nervous about the X-Files, because I don't think Coogler is going to be super hands-on with the X-Files other than producing and just kind of being the guide. I don't think he's going to be writing every episode. And so this makes me really nervous about that.
Yeah.
And look, Coogler, I would say he's first Black Panther movie, fantastic. Second one, it's okay. It's mid. It's very mid-tier Marvel.
Which is...
And then this is bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So we're seeing diminishing returns here.
Yeah.
Hey there, sci-fi fans. We hope you enjoyed this clip from a previous live stream of the Science Fictionary podcast. We hope you'll go check out other episodes. We hope you'll hit that like and that subscribe button. And please go check out all of our friends over at the Red 5 Network. And as always, may the Force be with you.